I know, I'm going to be in trouble. I am in trouble.
Hey, Jackie.
Oh my God, whoever said getting a new computer was fun?
Nobody I ever knew.
Oh my gosh, I'm so techno challenged, it's ridiculous.
Who is it?
Apologies, everybody.
No problem.
Be quiet, Lee. Don't torment me like that. It's been very, very difficult. It's just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it.
You just hung up on me, Dad.
You hung up on me. It doesn't matter anyway. I'm not going there. Like I've never been so challenged in all my life. And you saw with this U-Butte darn thing, and I've got this great big external screen that you can attach it to, and I don't have to use this nice, beautiful little laptop that I've got. But do you think I can connect it to that either? No. I said to him, "You make it all sound so."
Oh, now you just turned off your mic. Your mic is off.
There we go.
Oh, there we go.
So yes, everything's been really quite a headache for the last 48 hours, and I've just about behaved like a very irrational, crazy woman.
You.
So what's new?
I love you, Lowden. Oh my gosh, I've never been so challenged. I really haven't. There's a lot of things that I normally take things in my stride, but when it comes to computers, wow.
No, me too.
They are a beast within themselves. So, yeah.
That's how you learn.
Yeah.
Learn by trial and error and getting frustrated.
Oh, learn how to throw things out the window. I'm just, yeah. Anyway, that's life, isn't it? How is everybody?
Great.
Great.
Nice.
Oh my goodness.
This is my grandson, Simon. He just wants to say hi.
Hi, Simon.
Hello, Simon.
I'm going to say
How old
hello.
are you, Simon?
You're so cute. Handsome.
Whew. What do you
How
have
old
to
are
say
you,
to
Simon?
these people?
Thank you.
Show us
Okay.
on your fingers.
Okay, you just asked
Show us
how
on your
old are
fingers
you?
How old you are. 5. Very good. Do you go to school?
Okay, so I just want to welcome everybody today. So good evening and good afternoon and good morning, globally, wherever you may be, wherever you're listening to this call from. I want to thank, primarily I would like to thank our Fab Five. So Debbie Ward, Lee Rafferty, Ron Bosema Senior, and we also have Ken Pepperdine, who is unable to make it with us today. But our two special guests today are the lovely Bev Ellis and also the cheeky Lowden Ashley, as I've found out. So it's a nice thing to be able to do this, because you do find out about people's personalities, and it's always a really wonderful surprise. And it's even more important that we get the trust that you want to share this with us. So I feel pretty privileged, to be quite honest, to think that you open up and you tell us about your lives, and that we are very grateful, because what you're going to share with us, we're going to learn a lot from, and that's what it's about. It is that slogan that we have with Galen, that people helping people, and we help people in so many ways that sometimes we aren't even aware of how much of an impact that we're having on people. And it's quite intriguing as those messages do come back through, whether it be through Messenger or through an email, whatever it may be. It's quite surprising. You do not realise how much of an impact that you have on others when you have a positive outlook on life. And even just to that, how are you going? How are you feeling? Because you care. So I just want to thank you all, and for those that are listening to this call afterwards, that goes for you as well, because what we have as we progressively go forward is nothing short of spectacular, to be quite honest, and super exciting for the future as we go forward. So I do welcome you all, and I would like to actually start with Bev. And this call is not so much about me asking questions. It's really going to be about Bev telling us about her life, because it is quite an intriguing life. and then how things have unfolded leading into where she's finding herself now in Igalen and in that picture and in that space, and what she's doing within that world. So Bev, I welcome you. So would you like to start and share with us, because I know that I made a mistake in regards to stating where it was that you came from. I did not listen. I had my man-ears on, so I apologise for that. So if you could please share with us in regards to the correct place of where you were born.
Okay, yes, for sure. I'm over on the beautiful Prince Edward Island in the Gulf of St. Lawrence, and it's on the eastern side of Canada. And I know they have another island on the other side, and it's beautiful too. But we happen to think that we're on a 1 million acre tourist attraction island, which we are, and we have about 150,000 people here now, and it's a beautiful spot in the summer. I might qualify that. But so one thing I'm going to say is my dad was a visionary where I started, right? And so with Dad being a visionary, he was a business developer, and as a business developer, I learned a lot from him because he was a visionary, and he had come back from the war, and he had a dream, and he set forth to do that dream. And I'm just going to refocus it here on you, Jackie, there. And so the lessons I learned, I started when I was 8 years old learning these lessons, in the sense that my first goal setting was when I was 8, and I was taught to drive a tractor and pick potatoes, and there I was out there, and I set goals, specific goals for that summer, and I was going to make specific amount of money, and I had a time frame, so that's where I started, and I didn't even realize what I was learning, and as I go on in life, I discover all these things that I've learned, right? So he lived what he taught. He taught that positive attitude, and our attitude determines our altitude. And so it was always positive, and our altitude, wherever we want to go, it's our attitude that's going to take us there. And even though he was a pioneer, and he developed the first shopping center on Prince Edward Island, actually. And the other thing he taught was you never put down another person. We are all equal in God's eyes. And so that was I carried that through wherever, in nursing and everywhere. You just treated everybody the same, and everybody is equal to get the job done, right? And so you asked me about life in younger years, and with Dad starting a business, I'm trying to relate things that happened in life to the way life is today with our networking. And so he started off in business and traditional business, and we did without. We didn't have a car. We didn't have a TV. We didn't have any extras. We had food on the table, and we had fun and laughter and respect for everybody. And so money that you had was put into the business, right? So I love to work. I love to learn. And Dad was the same way. And we worked hard and played hard. I was into, I had a guitar, but I was into snowmobiles and motorcycles. And actually, I became the emergency room, the ER nurse who was teaching people how to ride motorcycles. And the goal at that point was I was one of the first women on PEI riding a bike. So I was a pioneer in a number of areas. So I taught the course. We had a safety course, and they had me teaching the course with the guys, and to get women to ride, and it worked. There's, Dad's women, lots of them riding now, and did at that time. So it was a wonderful thing. And so we had horses and boats, and I was healthy and well at that point, and snowmobiles, and it's as you went along, you worked hard, but you played hard, right? And so Dad also taught that as you went along and you got into business, I wanted to go into nursing, and so he said, okay, that's great. So you take your job, the money from your job, and if you want a job, you're going to have a job's going to create your life, and a business is going to give you your lifestyle. And so he said, you take the money you make from your job and you put it into a business, and you work at that after hours. So what I did was I took that money and I got into real estate with Dad. So I've been in real estate, and then I also developed in a network marketing, and of course we had a tourist business, and just went from one thing to another. So it's been good. It's been fun. Could you shut that door, please?
Do you know what, Bev, what I'm going to say to you from here, just to interrupt and intervene here? I mean, I'm hearing something, and this is where the fun part in this, doing this little, this interview each week, when we're putting the spotlight on people that really earn it, is that you learn all of these little things about people. You know, like I've sat, since I've met you, and then getting to know you more and more, you've always got this cheeky grin, and you've got this beautiful aura that sits around over the top of you. As Brian said, he's telling me it's a halo around your ankles. I believe it's a halo that sits over the top of your head, because that you're glowing, and you always glow. You really do. That just shines through. But I'm having a bit of a chuckle to myself, because I'm now listening to what you're telling me in regard, or telling us, you're a daredevil of a woman when you were growing up, like you're a pioneer. So where you are now, it's just something where your dad and his ethics of teaching you as a child has just literally just rolled and just gone in like a domino effect into your life as you've moved forward. And I just wanted to bring that to the forefront, because you may be this quiet woman sitting before us, but there's a daredevil inside of there, and I look forward to hearing more about it. So please continue.
Thank you. Well, and I went into nursing to because I wanted to help people, and so when I get out of nursing, when I went into nursing, Dad said, "Okay, you're going to be around medical people, but never ever give up the responsibility for your own life choices and your own medical health." So I didn't pay much of attention at that at the moment, but as life went on, I thought, boy, those words ring true, because, you know, medicine couldn't help me in certain instances. And so it was just great, because natural medicine has. So he said to me, okay, when I got out of nursing, he said, okay, Bev, now do you want to work till you're 45 or 65? Who at 20 thinks about those kind of things, right? So that's where I went and said, do I have a choice? And he said, well, Les, you can do this, this, this. And as we know, that's what networking teaches us, right? We can have a short-term, mid-term, long-term plan, right? And so went to there, and actually I stopped nursing after 2 years. I said, okay, I want to know why am I here? Where am I going? What's going on? So I got philosophical about it all, right? And so I left here, and back then it was a big deal to go traveling. And I went to Chicago, halfway across the country, which was huge. And as I'm looking down in Chicago, where I don't know people, down come my suitcases and my guitar all together. So it was great. It was fun. I met a lot of people, and I'm still friends with them today. We keep in communication. So I took biblical studies and did a little nursing on the side, and there was a few of us nurses there doing the same thing. And so anyway, it was great. And anyway, so when it comes to the business, shall I move on to the reasons I like network marketing is because people work together, and also it's people helping people, and it's making a difference in people's lives. And that's where I want to make the difference and move on and help people. Now, what I've also learned is not everybody wants to be helped, and not every people like myself, we get tuned into medical and unfortunately don't want to try the natural, which is foods. I mean, what better product could we have than Emulin? Here it is, three, four combinations of food, and it's things that we need and can't get without being supplemented. And it can make the difference for us. Look at now I have energy. Now I can do things I couldn't do before. I had a friend here who hadn't seen me for a year, and he said, Bev, he said, there's a vibrant energy about you that well, at one time I was with him a few years ago and I had collapsed, right? And so could hardly sit up. So there's gone from one extreme to the other. So I've been blessed with natural products. And I was blessed to get that phone call last January, a year ago, January, when Diane Amundsen called me and said, Bev, I want to tell you about this product. And I said, oh, wow, sure. I was a little tired of thinking, oh, not another company. And then, I'm a visionary, always about the product, right? And so she connected me to Jana Jorgensen, and my life has changed forever because Jana said, okay, Bev, it helps balance your blood sugars. And because I had gotten that diagnosis that nobody wants to get, and I'm a 2-time survivor, I said, I need my sugars balanced, right? And so it went from there, and I got involved with the business, and I love business. I actually had gone back to university and taken business courses after I was nursing, and so it's just part of me. Business is part of me, and of course I was grateful I was in business because my health gave way and I had to quit nursing. And so it's
Bev, not only are you beautiful, but you're also intelligent as well.
oh, thank you. It's just a great company. I have to tell you, the intelligence of the brains are coming through because of the Climax that we have, and the Emulan helps the focus, and they help pain too. And so the Climax helps the clarity and pain, and they're amazing products.
You know, Bev, can I say this to you? And I just want to, because I know Jana's on this call. What person hasn't been touched by this remarkable woman? So to get a call from Jana and to come on board with her, and having the pleasure of meeting Jana in Vegas, and prior to that, and then becoming a friend with her, and the inspiration and the motivation and the vibrancy that comes from within this beautiful soul, you can't help but want to be involved with what she's doing. And it shines through for everybody that she touches, and this is very clear with what you're saying. So I want to ask you, you know, your dad's been a really big instigator for you, and a big an anchor, if you want to call it that. Like, he's been a real sounding ground for you, for where you've really anchored yourself to, and this is where life has progressed from there. But I'm sure you've kept on regressing back to what he's taught you in lessons in life, and it's why you're excelling in what you're doing. But in this present time, is in regards to where you are with Galen, because we spoke about this just for everybody's, we're going to bring Bev on to do her testimonial as a separate identity, because this lady has a phenomenal testimonial within itself. But in regards to the business aspect, where are you now? Like, what are you doing in regards to developing your business, and what is it that are the strong points for you that are helping you to grow and to expand your team?
Okay, great. Well, what I do is I'm talking to people and they're telling me, you ask them how they are and they tell you, and I say, well, that's a great opening, right? And so I do a lot of one-on-one, and that's what I enjoy the most. And then I do, I do house meetings, and I actually have cold calls. You wouldn't believe that I was so shy when I was a kid. They had to send me to a special school, but anyway, nobody believes that. And so, yeah, so I do it, but right now I'm also learning social marketing, and I followed Ray Higdon for a few years, but I'm with Susan Sly, and she's got some definite ways, and Riel Andrews works with her, and so I'm learning those and honing in on some of those things, but I'm taking courses to do that, and it does take time, and where I'm focusing on, and I do like to send people information, and if I can automate some of that and help the team do that, that's great. But everybody has their own style and focus, where mine is Facebook, and as you will see, Lowden has another focus, but we still work well together. encourage each other and help each other move on, right? And so the focus, though, the biggest focus is helping people be well, people helping people to get well and stay well, because prevention is the key. I always say prevention is better than treatment.
And, you know, as we lead into, is there, in regards to the products, so we just touch base very slightly on this because I know that your testimonial is a phenomenal one. But Emulin itself and Climax itself, like, has it had a really big impact in your life?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. It's like changed the night and day, and I don't have those ups and downs like you have, and if there's pain in that, I mean, the Emulin helps that, but the Climax just really takes it out. And so if I'm out driving in the car somewhere and I drink the Climax all day long if I take the Notion, or all evening long. It's great. It's just really, and I'm supposed to be taking a vitamin B12 capsule, and I don't need it because I'm taking Climax.
Yeah.
I'm sublingual, like, you know, certain things like that we don't need because we have it in these products.
Yeah, it's just got so many minerals in it. Between the two products themselves, it just supports the immune system, and it really does make a huge difference in being able to keep you energized. And it's just giving you back into your diet what you're not getting from our foods. And that's something that a lot of us are really feeling from that. Is there anything, you know, the other little thing, is there anything that you'd like to tell us about Lowden? Because as I learnt when I spoke to these two are, and let me finish this statement, these two are childhood sweethearts in regards to being best friends from school. So they go back a long time. So they know a lot about each other, and I know that they're going to keep quite a fair bit of it in the vault, because I'm sure one could really unleash quite a fair bit of funny little things that have happened between them, because they grew up together from school. They've known each other for years and have stayed in touch. And I believe that Bev actually is Lowden's sponsor. Am I correct?
Yes, yeah, Lowden, and we've worked at other networks together over the years, so it's great. He's a family friend, and Dad was a mentor for him. He will talk about that, but yeah, we go way back. Yeah.
So the great thing in it being is that Lowden has to do what you say when it comes to Galen, because you're his boss.
Oh. We encourage each other is the way I like to put it.
Now that I know Lowden, I'm just being cheeky. So it's just really beautiful to see, in all honesty, that friends that can, you know, last for a lifetime together can still come back and meet each other somewhere along the line and stay in touch, and then grow in and experience something like this. It's going to change the lives for the future for so many people.
The one thing I really like about iGalen is we're all working as a team, no matter where we are in the organization. I sponsored him or vice versa. We're all working as a team for the betterment of iGalen and for the betterment of other people, so that everyone is healthy. And that I love.
Do you know, Bev, I want to say this to you, and I had a very wise lady say this to me, which was Jana, and she's on this call, is that, you know, what was experienced in Vegas was something we will never experience again. But what it instilled in those that were there, and by people that have taken that on board, leadership, the importance of leadership, and the importance of making sure that you're instilling the importance of what iGalen stands for, but more primarily is the importance of what it means to be comfortable in your own skin, but being very passionate about what you're doing and not being frightened to actually put your emotions on the line with this company, because people really want to know that you're in this for the right reasons, that you're not doing the silly sort of thing, that like this is passion behind this company, and this starts from the top, from the leadership. So if you're a main sponsor or a main leader, and the people that you're bringing on board, this is why you are so successful, because you are leading from your heart. Like, it's coming from how you feel about the products, and that's coming through even from listening to you in regards to what your personal life was from a child. It's just one's just flowing into the other, and it is a really important role when you take on board, and you are doing that so very well, and I congratulate you for it. And that's where the success for people is going to come through and shine, if you can lead by example, but be humble enough to realize that you're sitting on the same plateau as what your team members are. And I think if you can empower people, and that's what you do so very well.
Thank you, Jackie. I do love it, and I love people, and I love helping them get well.
Yeah. So I might like to shift on over to Lowden, and again, thank you so much, Bev, because I really know that this has been a big week, and big. If I could reach through the screen and give you a big hug and a cuddle, I would, because I really do appreciate it. And thank God for the products, because I'm sure it's like all of us, it helps us when we need it the most. So.
Right.
We look forward to bringing you on for when we've got a testimonial, because this lady really does have 1.5, I can tell you. And it's really wonderful to hear that things can make such a huge impact. So I shall shift over to Lowden, and then we'll open it up later so everybody can ask questions of both of these cheeky pair, because I'm looking forward to listening to Lowden, because he's going to tell us his story, I believe. So welcome, Lowden.
Thank you, Jackie. It's a privilege.
Yay.
I've always, I guess if we had a destination dream, it would have been Australia, but we've never gotten there yet.
You
So
need to.
I envy you. I'd love to spend a couple of weeks in the outback.
Would you come and spend some time with me, and I'll educate you on Australian humour?
Okay. Well, that's okay. Anyway, it's a privilege to be asked. Thank you.
It's a privilege to have you on board. So I'd like you to actually, if you wouldn't mind, if you can tell us where you're from. And I'm really intrigued because as Lowden goes through his story, he will tell you, and I was quite intrigued to hear this, he comes from the Rolling University of Life. And you'll be able to tell us exactly what your life has meant, how it's unfolded, and who the most instrumental person has been in your life. And I know that you have set principles that you live by. They're the chapters of your life. So if you would like to share those with us, it would be our honour to listen.
Thank you. Well, hi everybody. And like I say, it's a privilege to be on this call. My name is Lowden Ashley, and that's like loud and clear, and leave the clear off. I mean, I live in Truro, Nova Scotia, but I'm actually, I like to say I'm an islander, which means Prince Edward Island. I'm an islander from Truro, Nova Scotia. I was born in Western Prince Edward Island, up in Stompin' Tom area. And I was a very young child at the time. And I grew up there until I was about 13, then moved near Charlottetown. And that's where I met Bev. We went to church. We went to the same church together, and her father was one of my mentors, and so I boarded with them for 2 or 3 or 4 weeks in the spring when the roads were so bad I couldn't get home, and I had a job in town as a delivery guy, and that's where I met Bev. And we didn't go to school together. Actually, she was in elementary school, and I was in my early 20s. So there's a big difference in our age. I have priorities in my life, as you suggested. One of my priorities is my faith. I trusted Jesus Christ as my Savior when I was a teenager, and He's been my guiding light all along the way. And I really appreciated that, because it's taken away the fear that most people have of death, because I don't look forward to it. I'm like Dr. Jeremiah says, I'm not scared of death, but I just don't want to be there when it happens. My family, Norma is my wife. She's been my wife for 57 years, and she's my best friend. We have 2 grown children. Paul lives in Chicagoland, and he's married and has been for over 20 years and has 2 grown daughters. Esther lives in Prince Edward Island, and she has 2 grown children, a boy and a girl, and one's a teacher and the other's a electronics technician. And we have a 3-week-old great grandchild. And it's so great because when our grandchildren were young, we didn't get to talk to them very much. It was expensive on the phones. And of course, you didn't have Skype or FaceTime. And so now we're seeing our new great grandchild on FaceTime at least once a week, and a lot of pictures, of course. That's my family, and the other is my friends. And I invited all my friends to be on this call, but sadly to say they were both out of town today. So that one thing I like about network marketing is friends. I've made a lot of lifelong friends because of network marketing. My career went something like this. I spent 30 years on the road as a commercial traveler, calling on retail, wholesale, food service accounts. I owned, for 7 years, I owned a fast food franchise, and that's a story in itself. Post-retirement, I drove a school bus for 3.5 years, and I spent 3.5 years, probably the most enjoyable part of my career, as an environmental educator. And I traveled around Nova Scotia, all around Nova Scotia, about 30 kilometers a year, 30,000 kilometers a year, and just enjoyed the scenery. I love Nova Scotia. And yeah, and I called on schools, did parades, seminars, all that type of thing. And actually, the school part was what I loved, because we went to elementary schools, and I talked to 154,000 students and teachers over those 12 years. And that was a delight. That was my career in business up until now. Physically, at age 20, I've had pretty good health all my life. But at age 23, I had a near-death experience. I had gangrenous appendix. My appendix ruptured and progressed into a severe case of gangrene. And then along the way, the doctor put me on medication for hypertension. And I was on medications for 40 years. I had a prostate scare. And of course, I got the flu and the cold every time they came along. My interest in network marketing began when my mother went to see a chiropractor, was coerced into seeing a chiropractor. And he got her back on her feet after she'd been in bed for over 6 months. And I still remember vividly the progress she made. It was almost instant. The progress was instant, but it was progressive over a number of weeks and so on. And because of that experience, Mom was open to listening to other ideas other than the typical medical advice. And so when somebody suggested to her that because she was having trouble going upstairs, a lady asked her if she takes vitamins, and she said no. And she said, "I give you a book on it. Would you read it?" And Mom said yes. So she gave her a Bible on vitamins, I think it was. And then, of course, Mom passed introduced us to natural supplements, and that changed my life. I credit high quality, and I say high quality because not all supplements are born equal. Some people think they can go to the supermarket and pick up supplements, and they're getting what they need, and I think they're crap mostly. But anyway, that's my opinion. Not a scientific opinion, but a prejudiced one at least. I credit high quality supplements for my ability to keep my prostate problem at bay, and that was without surgery. And 15 months ago, my doctor took me off medication, so I'm drug free for the first time in over 40 years. I seldom get a cold. I seldom get a flu, and if I do, they only last for a few weeks. They only last for a few days instead of a few weeks like they used to. And at this time, I'm able to ride my bicycle. In fact, I rode 20 kilometers this morning. And to celebrate my 80th anniversary last year, I biked 1,000 kilometers, and that included 273 kilometers on the Confederation Trail in Prince Edward Island. And I did that solo. Now, when I say solo, I did have a support crew, and that was my wife. And she promised that she'd never do that again, but she did it. During the winter, I skate 2 or 3 times a week. I have a home gym. Norma and I do a brisk walking schedule. And would you believe, up until a few years ago, I played recreational volleyball. And I think the oldest person on the team, other than me, was at least took 2 decades younger than me, and some of them were 5 decades younger. So I've been active that way. I was introduced to network marketing in the mid-'60s, and I immediately liked the concept. Since then, I've been associated with a number of MLM companies, mostly in the natural health arena. What were the benefits? Because of network marketing, we got to travel to some exotic destinations, attend seminars and workshops where we learned from some of the leading professionals in the health and wellness field. And I say that because they were then, but back then we didn't have the 2 scientists that we have on our team. So what else did it do? I learned about health and wellness, and plus it allowed us to support our healthy aging habit. And so that was a blessing. Why I Galen? When on my Moby gig, that was the environmental thing, I traveled to schools with a robot, and I would locate myself in the gym office with a headset and a control panel, and I would talk to the kids through this robot that looked like a trash can, and his name was Moby. So when the Moby gig was retired, I guess I kind of retired too, but Providence seemed to direct otherwise. By Christmas, I had turned into a couch potato. I was lethargic, I was listless, I just had no energy and no get up and go. And one day, Norma made me sit up and take notice. She said, "You're walking around like you messed your pants." And that did it. I decided to change my old man image. I entered a 16-week body contest, ordered the program, dusted off some not very often used exercise equipment, and went to work. About that time, Bev Ellis, I think you all have heard about Bev Ellis. She called again, and I mean yes again, about another deal. But frankly, I was tired of network marketing. But because it was Bev, I listened. But I also remembered the last deal and how the great program we looked at, and I also remembered how that it was just a great program. It was the kind of program that I was looking for. And a few weeks later, they changed the deal. So the reason I got involved again was because they changed the deal, and I didn't forget that. So when Bev called, I knew enough about network marketing, and I knew what I didn't want, and I knew what I did want. And so this time I was more hesitant. Actually, this time I knew what I was looking for. I was looking for integrity. Integrity in the 4 Ps: products, people, programs, and pay plan. I was also intrigued by the fact that Imulin was formulated by Dr. Joseph Ahrens, a scientist who was twice nominated for a Nobel Prize. And that told me that Imulin was science-based. It was not just another anecdotal evidence product. It was real science. Now we have Climax, created by another Nobel Prize nominee in medicine this time. And the excellent results and outstanding testimonies are amazing. They just keep coming in. I guess the combination of Galen, Imulin, Climax, and the credible science, plus my long passion for healthy aging, has resulted in the launching of my encore career. Back to the body challenge. When my order arrived in mid-February, I simply incorporated Imulin into my fitness program. The results: I lost 50 pounds. I dropped 10 points in the BFI scale. And this is going to rock you. There was 13,000 people competing in that contest, in that 16-week contest. And I finished in the top 15. Not the top 15,000, the top 15. Would you believe? I don't have an ache nor pain. I don't have an ache nor pain. Summary. As you can see, I have lived a blessed life, an active life, an interesting life. Norm and I have renewed our commitment to each other. Oh yes, I know the marriage commitment. We still adhere to that, but this is our new commitment. I'll look after me for you, and you look after you for me. Our hope is that we continue to enjoy our family whilst we serve seniors and others in our church and community. And because, as Jackie has suggested, I'm a ham, I really enjoy modeling what healthy aging actually looks like. Retirement, not a chance. My motto is better health to better serve. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, Lowden, I just, I'm speechless. I was in tears in regards to your motto to your wife. That just makes my heart sing. And the fact that you've redone your vows and your love for each other, but being involved in the fitness industry and the health industry, as most of us are, we've got a really big passion, obviously, because that's why we're here with Galen. But to listen to your story and your journey throughout life, you've had a near-death experience. You've had an inspirational woman in your mother that's really set the groundwork for you. But you've made that conscious choice yourself throughout life that you've really looked after yourself, and this has just progressed forward. And for you to be the top 15 in thousands of people at the age of 21 is just, it's just earth-shattering. It really is. It's just kudos to you. And to hear your story in regards to what Climax and has done for you and how you personally feel about it, for me, this just speaks volumes. To listen to both of you, and I know we haven't heard everything about Bev, and we will at a later date in that regards, but it just speaks volumes. And I'd just like to really thank both of you and open this up if anyone's got any questions that they would like to ask either Bev or Lowden.
Can I say one thing first?
Yes.
I didn't mention Bev's dad. Bev's dad, I think I did in passing. I had 4 mentors in my life. We have a retail organization in Canada called Canadian Tire, and one of their ads said, "There's no such a thing as an unassisted goal. No such a thing as an unassisted goal." I had 4 main mentors in my life other than my parents, and Harold Ellis was one of those. Also, the other thing is Rolling University. I kind of figure that I've listened to enough lectures while I've been traveling, because I always have CDs, and back then it was cassettes in my vehicle, and I figure I've listened to enough lectures that I could have gotten my master's degree.
I love that. I really do. I want to read out what Jana, most of you hopefully have read this, and this is where I find this lady so inspiring. And obviously, Jana has brought yourself on board, Bev, and then Lowden, you followed through underneath the guidance of Bev also, and the trust. But what a blessed team we have. And it is a fact. If you work, this works. We have just begun, and the future will bring many changes. But because of our incredible products, we absolutely know it's bright. Embrace it, and let's build a billion-dollar brand together. You are all so awesome, and thank you, Lowden. What an incredible interview. Everyone in our company needs to hear this, and love you. And it was similar in regards to further up from Jana to Bev as well. Nothing but kudos to you as well, Bev, because both of you are founders of this brilliant company that we have. And I only hope personally for me that I can actually be as inspirational as you both are by the time that I get to 30 as you both are. Because what you've both shared with us today, it truly is inspiring. And I hope that I can maintain a very good health system and a regime as you have done, Lowden, because it really is remarkable. Nothing shy of remarkable. So
Actually, I'm 39 past.
well, I knew you were that young. I just I don't like putting age in there too much because some people are a bit sensitive. So, but has anyone got any? Sorry?
Yeah, one other thing is, and this happened twice this weekend. People younger, one guy much younger than me, and another guy 20 years younger than me, were complaining about sore joints and all this type of thing. And my comment was, I wish you guys wouldn't talk like that. I'm not going to want to get old.
I'm going to use your wife's analogy. My husband's a very fit man. And so the day that he looks like that he's walking around like he's got that old man walk, I think I'm going to just play this back to him and then I'll run because
it worked for me.
because I think it was a big inspiration, clearly. So I'm going to open it up. Has anyone got any questions that they would like to ask these amazing human beings?
I just would like to say one thing about Bev. Like, she brought me into the business, but I want to tell you, her and her father, and Jana would understand what this is. They both had gold wings, Honda Gold in 750s, I believe. Am I right, Bev?
1100.
1100s. Those are the big bikes. And this wasn't 2 years ago or 3 years ago. This was what, about 30 years ago. And at those times, they were big bikes. Very impressive. A motorcycle mama.
Yeah, it was fun.
Also, Bev was a water skier. And we had a chap in PEI, Stuart Smith, and he had how many girls in his stable, Bev? You, half a dozen or more?
Yes, probably that. Yeah, there'd be that. There weren't a lot of us, but it was called Stu's Water Bugs.
Yeah, Stu's Water Bugs, and they did water shows at events and so on.
Mm.
This is what I loved about when I interviewed you two when we were talking. There was all of this little back and fro because there's such just an invaluable history and depth of friendship here that you both just have with one another. And I'm sorry for my mistake in regards to not listening properly, that you weren't actually at school together, but you've certainly known each other for a lifetime, that's for sure, and it shows. And I do really believe that if anybody ever at any point in time has that Maury moment, I don't know if you've ever read the book, Tuesdays with Maury. It's only a little book. If you haven't read it, try and find it and read it. Because those moments on when yourself or any of your team members find that Maury moment in your life, that life's tough and you think that you're doing it hard, read that book, but I'm going to relate it back to these two. Because if ever you think that life is tough and you're doing it, really difficult, have a look at what these prime examples of belief, the belief in prayer, the belief in God, the belief in themselves, and the strength that both Lowden and Bev bring forward and share with other people wherever they go is a really big grounding factor as to why they are the people that they are today. And I think it's something that people need to be aware of, that nothing is ever impossible. It's just your attitude that makes it impossible. And you two shine. You really do. And I'm very grateful to be able to bring part of you out into the world to be able to share.
I'd like to make a comment. It's a real short one. It's 3 words. Kept coming through on both of you the whole night. Drop the mic. Drop the mic. This was a beautiful presentation by both of you guys.
Thank you so
You know,
much.
I see
Thank you.
something in this that's a real interesting sort of a flow that we've got going here with both of you having such inspirational stories and the impact of parents in both of them and how that made such a difference to the way you do your life today because of the values that were instilled in you. And look what we're talking about next week, the pure potential of our children. And so the influence that we can have on them and our grandkids, like this little one, and just what we can, you know, how we can be such an influence on them and the younger that we can people to make them realize how important it is to have that positive influence on our kids, the better. And I just want to say, Bev, it was a pleasure to meet you in Charlottetown area on, I think, June 21st, I believe it was. And I think you told me, it was a statement that your dad said that I thought was, and I don't have the exact wording, but you said something to the effect that go to school, get your degree, but don't let anybody change what you believe to be true.
Yes.
And yeah, and I thought, wow, that is so cool because, I mean, you know, we all go through this training that we're supposed to have. I went through as a pharmacist, but that didn't necessarily sit properly with me. And, you know, it wasn't what I knew to be true. And Lowden, I'm sure on that trip, I drove right through Truro, Nova Scotia. Had I known you were there, I'd have made the tour bus stop and we'd have had a coffee.
Actually, they drive by.
Yeah, we were there. I'm sure I was there. I didn't realize that you were from there at that point.
Yeah.
So
if you went to Halifax by bus, you had to pass by Truro.
yeah, that's where we started. But I did get
we're right at the head of the Bay of Fundy.
We were there, absolutely.
Where the highest tides in the world are.
We saw that at Halls Harbor, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And so we did get to see Brian and Bev, so that was a real treat. Had I known you at that time, I'd have made a point to connect with you as well. But very inspirational, both of you. Thank you so much. This was a great interview with both of you.
So what I wanted to, Debbie, did you want to expand on, as we do wrap this call up, I know that you still have a promotion. So did you want to expand on that because that's still available?
Yeah, actually, we're very fortunate to have the promotion extended into August now, right through the month of August. So anybody joining as a new member with a gold pack automatically gets upgraded to platinum so that their future purchases are at platinum level of $52 US, and people can get creative. A family can join under one membership and get those benefits and spread it. The more product you have on hand, the more people's hands you're going to get it into. If you order one bottle a month, believe me, you hoard it. So, you know, getting more products, you know, in your hands helps you get it in other people's hands. And that's what I'm doing with my clients, and they're saying, oh yeah, well, my sister could use this, and you know, my dad needs this. And so putting a combined order together with the knowledge that they're going to help more people right off the bat is it's a really good way. You don't have to wonder about what am I going to do with 10 bottles of product. Think bigger. So
you've got till the 31st of August, that's correct, isn't it?
I think that's correct, yes.
So no excuses. So what I'm going to ask from all of you too, so you've seen all of us posting down here, and there is going to be an email go out for Australia just because we're trying to generate more awareness within Australia. So we've got an event on the 25th of August in Sydney, then the 16th of September on the Gold Coast near Brisbane, and then on the 6th of October in Perth. And we're just taking it out to the people and trying to get as many people on board, distributors as we can. There are going to be phenomenal promotions, so we're just getting those finalised with Dr. Eugene, and we'll get those out. But it's worthwhile if you've got any distributors that you think that can expand their teams down here, or if you know people that are in Australia, please let me know, because obviously we'll look after them for you and make sure that they are cared for and bring them in underneath our wing for you and help you to get them on board, because Australia's about ready to take off, and it will just expand and go from there. Because I was listening to something on the news the other day, and it said that Australia is the biggest multicultural country in the world. There is no other country in the world that is as multicultural as what Australia is, nor is there any other country in the world that has as many opportunities at its doorstep at this point in time than what Australia does, because we are growing. We've got so many people that are coming into the country and they just want to grow. They just want to make money. And we're getting people coming in from those countries that know how to network. So we really do have an opportunity of a lifetime here. So if there's even one person that you know down here, please contact us, because you're helping us. Because the more that we can make these events successful, the more that we're going to be able to take it out into the community and spread it around through Australia more. And obviously help IGAL and grow globally. So thank you. Outside of that, just please try and jump on board. I will come back to you, Ron, that we make sure that we do join next week. So yes, Ron?
Reminder, 24 hours from now is the corporate call.
Yes, that's correct. So we do have that with Dr. Eugène. So we're going to be getting updates on what's happening within the company globally. So I'm sure we're going to be hearing some pretty always inspiring information, and takes us forward in regards to some knowledge that we may have been asking ourselves that we need to know, but what's happening for us in the future, which is always exciting with IGAL, and that's the great part about it. There's always something that's coming around the corner that we're very lucky and very blessed to be part of something that is a progressive company that are always looking to better themselves. They're not just sitting there because they've made these two remarkable products. They're looking forward to making them even better. So we sit in a very good position. So on that note, if anyone's got anything else to say, we might finish up the recording. And again, I want to thank you so much, Bev, and thank you, Lowden.
You're quite welcome.
Really appreciate it. Thank you to everybody that come on board today, and I also thank everybody that listens to this in their own time afterwards as well, because these really are really huge learning tools to be able to take a lesson from people that have been doing life for some time, and doing it well. So thank you very much, and we look forward to next week. And make sure you do tune in, because it is going to be a pretty inspirational call when we're talking about the future of our children and the potential of our children with Dr. Ron and with Dr. Ken. So thank you very much, and good evening, good afternoon, good morning, and then we'll speak to you next week.
Good night.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Fabulous. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night, everybody.